I saw my own face on the security cameras, walking among the tombstones at 3:15 in the morning, while I was sitting in the monitoring room, staring at the screens. If you're watching this, you need to understand something. I don't know if I'm still alive. I don't know if what I'm about to tell you happened yesterday, or if it happens every night. But if I disappear after recording this, leave a like, so someone knows I was here. So this story doesn't die with me. My name is Daniel Carvalho. I'm 32 years old. I've worked as a security guard at San Pedro Municipal Cemetery for 4 years, midnight shift, 11 at night to 7 in the morning, 8 hours alone with the dead. Most people find it strange. They ask if I'm scared, if I see things. The truth is simpler and sadder. I took this job because I needed silence, because I couldn't be around living people anymore. After my daughter died, the noise of the world became unbearable. Laughter, conversations, music. Everything reminded me she wasn't here anymore, so I came to work with the dead. Because the dead don't make noise, they don't demand anything, they don't judge you for being broken inside. The cemetery has 17 hectares, 4,200 graves, 3 mausoleums, 1 chapel, and 12 security cameras scattered along the main paths. My job is simple: sit in the control room, watch the screens, make rounds every 2 hours, note any strange movement, but there's no movement. There. Never is. It's one of the quietest places on the planet. Just the wind in the trees, the rustling of dry leaves, and the low hum of the monitors. In the first months, I found it comforting. The predictability, the absolute peace. I'd bring a book but could never read. I'd just sit there watching the screens, 12 different angles of the same emptiness. Stone paths illuminated by yellowed streetlights, long shadows of angel statues, headstones shining under moonlight, and nothing more. Always nothing more. Until the night of September 17th. The first night something changed. It was 2:43 in the morning. I was drinking cold coffee from a thermos. My eyes scanned the 12 screens in the usual pattern. Camera 1, main entrance. Camera 2, north wing. Camera 3, old burial section. And then I stopped. On camera 7, there was something different. A movement, small, almost imperceptible. In the lower right corner of the screen, near the Andrade family mausoleum, I leaned forward, pressed zoom. The image became grainy, but I could see a figure, back turned, standing before a grave, motionless. My heart raced, not from fear, but from relief. Finally, something was happening. Someone had jumped the wall. Vandals, perhaps, or some family member making an unauthorized night visit. I grabbed my flashlight and radio, left the control room. The cold night air hit me like a wall. September was still winter here. My breath came out in white clouds. I walked the route I know by heart, turned left at the main avenue, past the cypresses, the statue of the Weeping Christ, the stone bench where I sometimes sat during rounds. 5 minutes of walking, and I reached the Andrade mausoleum. There was no one. I illuminated with the flashlight, checked behind the columns between the nearby graves, nothing. I returned to the control room, rewound the recording from camera 7, and watched again. The figure was there, standing, motionless, for exactly 47 seconds, and then it simply disappeared. Didn't leave the frame, didn't walk out of camera range, just ceased to be there, as if it had been erased. I felt a chill run down my spine, but rationalizing is easy when you're alone. System failure, recording glitch, shadow of a cloud my brain interpreted as a human figure. I noted it in the report. 02:43. Possible movement on camera 7, verified. Nothing found. Probable technical interference. And I continued my shift. But something had changed. I couldn't stop looking at camera 7, waiting for the figure to return. It didn't return that night. 3 days later, I was watching archived recordings, routine protocol, review the previous week for the monthly report, and I saw her again, On camera 3, this time closer, clearer, a woman, back turned, long dark hair, white dress, standing before a grave I recognized immediately. My daughter's grave. My blood froze. I checked the file's date and time, 2 days before the first appearance. How had I not seen this before? I enlarged the image. The quality was poor, but I could see details. The white dress had a pattern, small flowers, like the dress we buried Laura in. My daughter, 7 years old, leukemia, 18 months of treatment. And then she was gone 3 years ago. 3 years, 2 months, and 11 days. I know because I count. Every day I count. My hand trembled on the mouse. I paused the image, printed a screenshot, put it in my jacket pocket, and told no one. Because if I told them, I knew what they'd say. That I was seeing things, that grief was making me hallucinate, that I needed help. But I knew what I had seen, and I needed to see it again. The appearances started becoming more frequent. Not every night, but once or twice a week. Always between 2 and 4 in the morning. Always back turned. Always standing before a grave. And always disappearing after a few seconds. I started making personal notes. A separate notebook I didn't show anyone. Date, time, camera, duration, trying to find a pattern, and I found one. The figure appeared only on new moon nights, when the darkness was complete, and it was always moving closer. Camera 12, camera 9, camera 5, approaching slowly toward the control room. I should have requested a transfer, should have left, but I couldn't, because part of me needed to know, needed to understand, and part of me, the part I didn't want to admit, wanted it to be her, wanted it to be Laura. Coming to visit me, to tell me everything was okay, that I could stop blaming myself, that I hadn't failed as a father. On a Thursday in the first week of October, something different happened. I was making my 4 o'clock round, walking through the south wing, away from the cameras, and I heard a voice, low, almost a whisper, calling my name. Daniel. I stopped. The wind had ceased completely. The silence was total. Daniel, do you see me? The voice came from behind me. I turned slowly. There was no one, just rows of graves extending into the darkness. I'm here. I've always been... My heart was beating so hard I could hear it. Where? I whispered. Silence. Just the distant sound of a dog barking outside the cemetery. I ran back to the control room, locked the door, checked all the cameras, nothing. No one but me in the cemetery. But I had heard it clearly. I picked up my phone, thought about calling someone, my ex-wife, my supervisor. But what would I say? That I was hearing voices? That I was seeing ghosts on the cameras? I put the phone away and kept watching the screens, waiting, always waiting. 2 weeks later, on the night of October 21st, I saw something that changed everything. It was 1:16 in the morning. I had just returned from a round, sat in the chair, grabbed my coffee, and looked at the screens. On camera 1, the main entrance, there was a figure. But this time, not back-turned, facing forward, looking directly at the camera, at me. It was a man, dark jacket, cap, familiar posture, very familiar. I enlarged the image, and my stomach dropped. It was me, my face, my clothes, the same cap I was wearing at that exact moment, looking at the camera, at myself. I stood up so fast the chair fell, ran to the door, opened it, looked at the hallway, empty, ran outside, to the main entrance. 7 minutes running in the dark, stumbling over roots, hitting my shoulder on a post. I arrived breathless. There was no one. I returned to the control room, rewound, and watched again. I was there, standing at the entrance. For 1 minute and 32 seconds, just looking, and then turning, walking into the cemetery, disappearing into the darkness between the graves. I checked the other cameras, fast-forwarded the recording. Camera 3, 4 minutes later. There I was again, walking slowly among the graves. Camera 8, 6 minutes later, stopping before a grave, kneeling. Camera 5, 8 minutes later, lying beside a headstone, as if sleeping or dead. I watched in absolute shock, because while these recordings were happening, I was here, in this room, sitting in this chair, watching these same screens. I hadn't left, not between 1 and 1:15, I was certain. But cameras don't lie. And there I was, walking among the dead. I didn't sleep that night, nor the next night, nor the one after. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my own face staring at me on the screens. I started making obsessive notes. Time I arrived at work. Every movement I made, every bathroom break, every round, I needed to prove to myself that I was here, that I was real. But the appearances continued, not every night, but frequent enough, and always me, walking, standing, kneeling. Once I saw myself digging, with my bare hands, scratching the earth beside a grave, like an animal. I stopped making official reports, stopped noting anything strange, because how would I explain? Saw myself on the security cameras while I was watching the security cameras? They'd fire me, or worse, commit me. So I continued silent, alone, watching myself disintegrate. On a Tuesday, in early November, it happened. The moment I was both waiting for and dreading. It was 3:27 in the morning. New moon. Complete darkness except for the weak streetlights. I was on camera 5, and I saw myself walking straight toward the control room. My heart stopped. I literally felt it skip a beat. I checked camera 6. I was closer. Camera 2, just 50 meters away. He was coming, I was coming, to me. I looked at the door, it was locked. I always lock it. But my hands were shaking so much I could barely hold the mouse. Camera 1, 10 meters from the door. I could see my face now, clearly. Every detail. The small scar above the left eyebrow. The discreet piercing in my ear I don't wear anymore. The coffee stain on my shirt collar I made this morning. How is this possible? How does this thing know these details? And then he stopped, right in front of the entrance camera, 3 meters from the door, and smiled. A smile I didn't recognize, that I'd never seen on my own face. Too wide, too empty. He raised his hand and knocked on the door. 3 knocks, calm, deliberate. I heard it from the other side. Real, not just on the cameras. Real. I backed away from the door, pressed against the opposite wall, my eyes fixed on the screen and the door. Another knock. Daniel. The voice came through the wood. My voice. Open the door. I didn't respond. Couldn't. My throat was completely closed. I know you're in there. My voice, but different, colder. Because I'm here. I've always been. And then he said something that shattered me. You think you came to work here by choice? You think you're the guard? Silence. Long. Suffocating. You don't watch the dead, Daniel. The dead watch you. I slid down the wall until I was sitting on the floor, tears streaming down my face, because somehow I knew. Deep. Down I always knew. Remember the accident? The voice continued. What accident? 3 years ago. Coming back from the hospital. After Laura. No. The rain. The truck. The impact. No, no, no. You didn't survive, Daniel. I covered my ears with my hands, but the voice continued, inside my head now. You died that day, with her. And since then, you've been here, walking among the dead. Because you're one of them. I looked at the screens through my tears. The figure vanished from camera 1. I checked the others. Nothing. And then, on camera 12, from inside the control room, behind me. I turned slowly. He was there. I was there, standing in the corner, watching me. You've spent 3 years watching recordings of yourself, he said. looking for her, waiting for her to come back, but she can't come back. Because she's alive, and you're not. He approached. I couldn't move. It's time to accept it, Daniel. He extended his hand, and I saw, on the screen behind him, all 12 cameras. I was in all of them, dozens of me, walking, standing, kneeling, lying beside graves, all looking at me, all waiting. You're not the guard, he whispered. You're just another one. And everything went dark. I don't know how much time passed. When I opened my eyes, I was sitting in the chair. Dawn light entered through the window. The screen showed the empty cemetery, empty paths, empty graves, nothing but silence and light. I looked at the clock. 7:15. End of shift. But I didn't remember the last 4 hours. I checked the recordings. Rewound to 3:27. The screen showed only the empty cemetery. No figure, no knocking on the door. Just me, sitting here, looking at the screens, all night long. I grabbed my things, locked the control room, walked to the exit, and stopped. Next to the gate, there's a mirror, small, for guards to check their uniform before leaving. I looked at it and saw nothing. I didn't see my reflection, just the gate behind me and the graves beyond it. I touched my face, felt the skin, the warmth. I was here, I was real. But the mirror was empty. I walked out, passed through the gate, and looked back. On the entrance camera, fixed on the post, I could see its image, the gate, the paths, the trees, but not me. The camera didn't see me. I kept walking, because I don't know what else to do. I keep coming to work every night. I keep watching the screens. I keep making my rounds. But now I know that maybe the figures I see on the cameras aren't intruders. Maybe they're the others like me, trapped here, between life and death, between grief and acceptance. And maybe, just maybe, I was never the guard. Maybe I'm just another dead man who hasn't realized it's over yet. Another ghost who hasn't accepted his grave. Still watching, still waiting for something that will never happen. I'll keep recording these confessions. I'll keep documenting what I see. Because someone needs to know. These words need to exist, even if I don't exist anymore. If you watched this far, subscribe to the channel, because there are more recordings, more midnight shifts, more confessions from those who watch the dead, or from those who are watched by them. I still don't know which I am, but I'll find out, even if it takes an eternity, because for the dead, time is all we have. And maybe, just maybe, you who are watching this now, reading these words on the screen, also need to ask yourself something. When was the last time you saw your reflection? Really, and did it look back?